Hopefully everyone can hear me okay. If you can't, or just feel free to unmute your mic or post a question or let me know, sorry, on the chat room. But yes, welcome to today's New to Q webinar. My name is Zoe Brewster and I am the Special Projects Lead for Q. I'm responsible for the membership to Q, and I'm also managing the Q Exchange program, which I can tell you more about in a bit. I'm really delighted to welcome you to our first webinar. Oh, so not first webinar, it's a second webinar, which is an opportunity to share how you can make the most of Q, and also an opportunity to kind of connect and connect with each other as well. We'll be recording this call today so that we can share it with other new members who are unable to join us today. And in the very spirit of Q, we're really keen to make sure that this is interactive and for you to be able to give us your thoughts and feedback. I appreciate that for many of you, this might be your first time using Zoom. So there'll be opportunities to kind of practice how we use Zoom, the functionalities that are built into this platform to help you familiarize with it. We tend to use Zoom with almost everything that we do in Q, or with all our webinars and stuff. So it's just a good opportunity to get familiar with it. As I said, if you have any questions or want to make any comments or share any useful links or anything, do feel free to use the chat room. There's the Zoom group chat, which you can message anyone. You can also do private messages if you wanted to ask a question specifically to someone else, but not to everyone else in the room. You can also use the hand button. There's like a hand, you can raise your hand within the participants list, or again, just feel free to unmute your mic and ask the question. This will be quite an informal platform, so don't feel shy. You can ask questions and feel free to interact with other members as well. So the plans for today, if I can get to the next slide. The plans for today in the next 45 minutes is really just to help you get started in Q by finding out who's in the room, have an opportunity to hear from other members that are involved in Q in different ways, ask questions, and then also find out more about how to make the most of Q and the offers that we have available. And then, yeah, at the end, we'll have more time for questions and comments. Before we begin, though, I'd first like to introduce you to our presenters. I've got alongside me, I'm here with my colleague, Robin. She will be monitoring our chat room. And then I'm also delighted to welcome two of our Q members today. We've got Andrea and Phil. Andrea, do you want to quickly introduce yourself?
Yes, hi, my name's Andrea Gibbons. I am the Improvement Evidence Lead at Taunton and Somerset FT and Somerset Partnership FT. So we're based in the southwest of England. I am also leading a Q Exchange project, which is a consequence of my Q membership. And for the purposes of that, I'm employed by Southwest AHSN. And I'm also just completing my PhD in Bristol.
Lots, yeah, thank you. And Phil, would you like to say hi?
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name's Phil Kyle. I'm the Q program lead here at the Academic Health Science Network in the Northeast, North Cumbria. I'm very privileged to look after our Q community across the region. Involved very much like Andrea in a successful Q Exchange bid with Professor Paul Bowie. I'll look after our community of practice human factors and support Q at every opportunity that we possibly can.
Fantastic, thanks Phil, thanks Andrea. We're going to hear from both Andrea and Phil in a moment. But first of all, I really just wanted to start off by saying, a huge welcome and congratulations to all of you. You're one of the nearly 4,000 Q members now who are in the community, and this spans all across the UK. And as you've seen from our speakers today, we've got representation from the North and from the South. We're currently funded by the Health Foundation and NHS England and Improvement, and also work with Healthcare Improvement Scotland, Public Health Wales, and the Public Health Agency in Northern Ireland to deliver Q. We're actually really excited because we will be expanding to Ireland as well, hopefully come sort of spring, summertime. And also we deliver Q locally through the Academic Health Science Networks, which Phil is a part of, and that's delivered through 15 different AHSNs in England. So what have you become a member of? So I don't think I really need to labor the point. You've all joined, you had to write something about why you wanted to join Q, you filled in your application. Q is ambitious in scale, but has a really simple aim in that we want to make it easier for people to be able to share, learn, and collaborate, because we believe that sharing, learning, and collaborating is really key to accelerating the positive impacts we're having on the health and care system. We currently have about 30% of our members are working in, their primary role is kind of are clinicians, and 70% are non-clinicians. Although in terms of professional background, is very much split 50-50. So about half of our key members have been professionally trained clinically. We also have lots of people working in not in the front line, but also working in academia, in policy. We've got voluntary sector as well as patient and public voices as well. So we're really all about connecting this really diverse community from all sorts of different professions and backgrounds. So you've entered a massive network coming from all sorts of, with all sorts of different expertise and experiences, who are all working towards a common agenda to continuously improve the health and care quality across the UK and Ireland. So before we begin kind of talking about what you can do and hearing from our members, I'm just going to run a really quick icebreaker just to get us feeling a bit more relaxed, and hopefully we can generate some conversations in the group chat. So we're going to do this by using the group chat functionality. So if you are in front of a laptop, if you want to locate the Groom Zoom chat group, write in your comments. If you are dialing in by phone, feel free to kind of shout out your answers. We're going to start with this first question, which is, what is your ideal holiday? So feel free to kind of write your answers in the group chat. Are you someone that likes a beach holiday? Do you like, are you into the city breaks, or actually, you really love the mountains? What is your ideal holiday? Oh, we've got skiing. I think skiing definitely is a subcategory of the kind of mountains. I would like a combo of all three. Yeah. Mountains, okay. It sounds like mountains is the most popular choice here. I don't want to choose at different points of the year. This is very true at different points of the year. I suppose, like, what is your ideal? If you could go somewhere tomorrow, would you want a holiday on a beach resort or anywhere peaceful away from home? In the mountains, either skiing or it does seem like the mountains and skiing is I don't know, it'd be interesting to ask this question in the summertime and whether people mention skiing or not. That would be an interesting kind of sort of behavioral insights work on. But yeah, it sounds like there's kind of this majority of mountains. I agree. I think mountains is definitely kind of, I'm hoping to get out somewhere to the Lake District or something to do some walking and maybe some cycling as well. All right, the next question we've got is, where are you based? So we've got here a map. The original intention was actually to be able to do some annotations so you can draw yourself on the map. So if you want to just indicate in the group chat, where are you currently based? It'd be great just to see who we've got in the room. We've got Southampton. This is also where my geography is gets tested. Birmingham, Belfast, oh that's great, we've got Northern Ireland, Scotland, Aberdeen, Newcastle, that's great. We've got a nice spread. Matthew say Blackfriars. Lake District. Ooh, Lake District. Can we swap? Lovely. Northern Ireland again. Wow, this is great. It's nice to. I think the only one we're missing is Wales. Unless have we got any Wales? No. So we've got kind of people covered all across. Yeah, Hertfordshire. Lovely. Well, welcome everyone. And then we'd really like to hear, what are you most excited about in Q? So yeah, any kind of initial thoughts, or what excites you about Q? What are you looking forward to this year being a member? Yeah. Learning from other members. Yeah, definitely. Hearing about some exciting work. Yeah, there's lots about kind of connecting and learning from other people, which is very much, I think, at the heart of what we do. Later on, what I can talk about is how you can make the most of Q by how you can share some of your learning. How do you connect with other members across the UK and Ireland? To connect with like-minded individuals. Yeah, making contacts. This is great. Yeah, so it's very much, I think, on the kind of relational side of how opportunities to meet and connect with people. So fantastic. Well, I think it's fair to say then that in terms of hearing from others, there is no better than to let me kind of start by handing things over to Q members who have actually been involved in Q, who've been part of Q for some time, and also have been doing some really great work to share their learning, to connect with members. So I'm going to start by handing things over to Andrea, who's going to talk about her involvement in Q. Andrea, I'm just going to stop sharing.
Brilliant.
You can share your screen.
Lovely. Right. And I am with you. So hopefully you will shortly be able to see my presentation.
Hasn't appeared yet. Oh, I think.
Wonderful.
There we go. We can see it.
Fantastic. So thank you, Zoe. And just to introduce myself again, my name is Andrea Gibbons. I am the Improvement Evidence Lead at Taunton and Somerset and Somerset Partnership. Our trusts are currently merging later this year, and together they provide acute, community and mental health services to the people of Somerset in the southwest. My background, after graduating, I worked in the private sector as a management consultant and in banking, and I joined the NHS in 2012, where I've been working in improvement ever since, really. I'm also just finishing my PhD, as I mentioned, which is about how the NHS uses management consultants. I'd first just like to, I'm just going to try and move that on. So I'd first just like to share with you a little bit about our trust, so you know what we're up to. And part of the ethos of Q is very much that sharing experiences, backgrounds, learning, and trying to build that network of who is doing what and make those connections. And I think it's really helpful to understand who's doing what nationally, what trusts are working in what spaces, how do they do it. There's so much overlap between the challenges that we all face, and we often feel as though we're doing them in isolation. And I think this slide will probably resonate with most Q members in one way, shape or form, because ultimately we are all trying to do these things. This is just how we happen to be doing it here. So, like other trusts, our approach to QI is based on the model for improvement and IHI methodology. What we think we do a little bit different is that in parallel to the IHI approach, we've also supplemented it with project management and benefits realisation processes, which are aligned to the different stages of the model for improvement. So project management and benefits realisation are absolutely integrated in the way that we deliver improvement work. And even just this week, I've had requests from other members of the QI community about trying to learn how you can embed project management into an improvement approach. And that's somewhere that we're learning from others, we're partnering with others, and others are learning from us. So that's absolutely the ethos of the Q community. Secondly, we're working tremendously hard, as I'm sure most of you are, to raise the capability of our frontline QI teams wherever they are in the organisation. And all of our team are involved in providing training across the county, and we get some phenomenal feedback. Our team is made up of specialists, so we've got process design analysts, benefits realisation officers, communications experts, improvement advisors. We've really focused on specialisation. And the third item that I'll just pull out is the bit that I'm involved in, I'm particularly proud of, which is our approach to evidence. And we have embedded evidence-based improvements here. All of our projects routinely look at the evidence and best practice before they get up and running. And we try to make contact with other trusts who have similar challenges or projects so that we can share our learning and learn from theirs. And sometimes that can have tremendous benefits in terms of being able to share business cases, being able to build on other people's policies or processes, even some of the communications and posters. If we can borrow those from somewhere else, why on earth would we want to reinvent it? So that's something that we do as an embedded part of the way that we do improvement, and each and every project that we run has evidence at its heart. We deliver that with an embedded improvement librarian, so she's part of both the improvement team and the library team and is part financed by both teams. So moving on to Q, I've been a member now of Q for 3 years, and I have to say I've benefited tremendously from being part of a national community of people working in and passionate about QI. Each and every one of the more than 3,500 members in Q has chosen to join the community, and I think that's really critical. Nobody's forced them to join. They're here because they want to participate in a national community of like-minded people, and they have skills and experience which you and I as Q members can tap into if we choose to take the opportunities that Q presents us with. When I started my Q journey 3 years ago, I was a Q connector, as I was passionate about trying to join up outside of our own region. So it's very easy to become quite siloed about how your own organisation worked. And this is an absolutely brilliant opportunity to kind of look outside and build your networks. I wrote blogs, I attended masterclasses that Q offered, I helped design the Q conference, I set up 2 special interest groups, and I joined many others. And I've also taken advantage of the IHI Open School Access, which is available to you, and you would normally pay quite a lot of money for that, so it's something I'd highly recommend at least exploring. Most recently, and you'll have heard me mention it earlier, we were very fortunate to have been one of the 20 winning projects in the 2019 Q Exchange. The Q Exchange, if you haven't heard of it or don't know very much about it, is something that's definitely worth exploring. It allows projects initiated by Q members to bid for funding from the Health Foundation and NHS Improvements in NHS England. What's different about it and is really exciting is that you create the proposal on the Q website, members can comment and get involved. The shortlisting process is conducted by other Q members, and ultimately it's Q members who select the winners, who are then announced at the Q national events, which again was a phenomenal opportunity. The quality of the presentations and the content there was just outstanding, so another fantastic thing to be involved in. Our project, in case you're interested, you can see the logo on the screen there, is called Evidence-Based QI. It's about putting our heads together and trying to connect and build on the experiences that we all have. The problem that the project is trying to tackle is that we don't routinely use evidence for improvement projects. And I have to say that when we look for it, it's really difficult. You can get overwhelmed. It's not of the highest quality. It might be out of date. It takes time. It's a struggle to find. The format might not be right. And so we're repeating mistakes. We're not working efficiently. Our decisions may be uninformed. And ultimately, we're reinventing the wheel. So the Q project that I'm delighted is now underway is about supporting the QI community to use evidence in improvement projects by drawing on the experience of our library teams and each other. And Q has been absolutely central to the ability to deliver this project. I was overwhelmed by the support and enthusiasm from the Q community for this project. I just hadn't expected it. So we'd put a proposal in a previous year which didn't get anywhere, and this one in contrast absolutely had phenomenal support. And I have had numerous conference calls, meetings, attended events and what have you, which I simply would not have been able to do without Q. So I'm incredibly thankful, and it's certainly been a career-changing experience being a member of Q. In terms of the project, it began 4 weeks ago, and we'll be running events which you as a Q member are always very welcome to attend. And if you're interested, I've popped the Twitter address there. It's Evidence for QI, or you can follow me. We also produce a QI evidence update, which again, if you're interested in QI and want to keep up to date, we produce that on a monthly basis. And again, if you follow either of those Twitter accounts, you'll get that. So it just summarises in 2 pages all of the latest developments and research in the QI space. So probably most important and most valuable to you are some of the resources that I've benefited from while I've been a member. So very briefly, I've summarised what I've found most useful, and I would absolutely recommend other people look at. The Q events is phenomenal events. Anyone can add an event to the Q website, and we've done that, and we've found events that way. So if you've got something that you would like to share with other Q members, or you want to explore what other teams are doing, that is a fantastic opportunity to do it. Q visits, there are regular Q visits which you can attend or host across the country, where you can learn about the experiences of other teams in areas relevant and related to QI. Special interest groups, as I say, I've set up 2 and I've joined many more. Special interest groups are a great way of connecting with others with a more specific interest than the kind of wider QI, and they range a huge variety of topics, from book clubs to sketchnoting to everything, to ambulance, urgent and emergency care. There's just a tremendous variety there. IHI Open School is online learning, which is available to you. It's at a global standard. It's really great. And that's certainly worth exploring. And if you are attending the IHI conference in Copenhagen, there is a discount code available too. You can write a blog. So I think I've written 3. You can write a blog, and it's very easy to do. So absolutely introduce yourself to the community. If you think you've got something interesting that others might find relevant, then absolutely take that advantage. You can become a Q connector, as I have and many others have. So if you are interested in connecting with others, that's a great way to do it. And finally, you can publish your work through BMJ Open Quality, and there's a link there for doing that. And there's also a video on the site to give you some guidance in how you can do that. Also, we've alluded to the Q community events in Q Exchange. They're not available right now, but keep an eye out. And finally, 5 things that you can do right now that won't take very long at all. If you haven't already, add your profile photo in the description. People like me look for people like you. from that. So we're looking, I certainly, when I'm setting up a special interest group or doing a piece of work, look for people who might have an interest, and the more detail that you can have, the better. Add yourself to the map. You can see the map that I screenshotted yesterday on the right hand side. You'll find other members in your region that you wouldn't have otherwise been aware of probably, and they can find you. Special interest groups are extremely easy to join and indeed set up. So if there's something that you've got an idea about that you think others might be interested in, then set up a special interest group. Follow the Q community on Twitter. There's always activity, and tag them if you're sharing something of interest, because they will retweet it. And finally, explore the resources that Q has available to you. It's a fantastic opportunity and it's yours for the taking. Thanks.
Thank you, Andrea. That was really, really comprehensive, and you've done us a favour of doing everything that we were going to share afterwards, which is really helpful. So thank you, Andrea. While I hand things over to Phil, Andrea, there's a couple questions in the Zoom group chat. I was just wondering whether you'd be able to share the links. One is around is the library team available to all Q members? And also, if you can share the link to the monthly QI evidence update you do.
Absolutely. So I will do that. I'll pop those in. So if you follow either me or the Evidence for QI project, then we share all of those. Depending on where you are in the organisation and in the NHS structure, you will have access to the NHS Library Service. Every trust has access in one way, shape or form, as does primary care. So if you want to drop me an email or a message, DM on Andrea D. Gibbons, then I will put you in touch with your librarian. And if for any reason anyone finds it difficult to identify who theirs is, very happy to help put you in touch. We're working with them at a national level across all regions of the NHS.
Fantastic, thank you. I'm now going to hand things over to Phil. Actually, so Andrew, if you don't mind, stop sharing slides, and then I'm going to now hand things over to Phil. If that's okay.
Good afternoon, everybody. Firstly, may I congratulate Andrea. What a fantastic presentation, very impressive, and in the true spirit of Q. So I would like to compliment Andrea. I apologise, ladies and gentlemen, I haven't got slides, but I'm going to come at this from a slightly different approach. Echoing everything that Andrea said, the wonderful opportunities as a Q member, you have to access the resources for the special interest groups and everything that has been previously talked about. I couldn't recommend higher than to do that. And for argument's sake, within the North East, what we do is we really encourage our members who are really proactive to share, promote success, learning and failure as well. We all seem to forget that the mistakes that we make down the line, we want to try and avoid. So by sharing failure or the pitfalls along the way and how it was perhaps overcome is huge. And within your own region, within the North East and North Cumbria, you're probably very similar within your own regions, and what we need to do is overcome this issue. We're very good, we're all very good, speaking collectively, everyone who's gathered today, of doing what we do. But what we're very poor at is telling people how successful we've been. We just we get on and do our things. In the true values of Q and the spirit of Q and the principles of Q, we encourage to share within our own region, and we also share with the Health Foundation using the communication platforms that are available to us both regionally and nationally on the AHSN, and again regionally and nationally using the Q platforms. Matthew Mezzi, who looks after the communities built into the Health Foundation, a fantastic resource if you have an issue or you have a light bulb moment, go onto there and look at and find the actual topic area, the interest area, and pose a question. Just pop it on there. And the fantastic reactions you get from the Q members, where they will come back and they will link into you, they will contact you either directly on the platform or contact you privately. And then what we always encourage as well as sharing best practice and success and learning, we like to encourage in the Northeast, and I'm sure everybody's the same, for our work with recognition given to the originators, be adapted to meet their own local need. So for argument's sake, if we shared something here and we're about to embark upon a wonderful piece of work regarding human factors and ergonomics with NHS Education Scotland, and they've been fantastic, and we're adapting, co-designing and joint branding this, and we're going to badge it and share it under Q. And we're very, very proud of that. And again, like Andrea, we're part of a successful human factors and ergonomics bid from the Q Exchange. Regarding support from the Health Foundation, you will only get out of the Health Foundation and Q what you put into it. We have found the Health Foundation and Q and all members extremely helpful and fantastic to work with. And I'm not just saying that because we're on this platform. We've been supported financially to put a showcase event on, which attracted, well, 2 showcase events, initially for our Q members and for our HFE community across the region. By promoting it using the Twitter accounts of both the Q and Health Foundation, we attracted fantastic presence from Northern Ireland, from Scotland, from all over the country, sharing best practice, and the networking opportunities are fabulous. Yesterday, I was fortunate enough to attend an event at the Her Majesty's Customs and Excise regarding quality improvement. We call it quality improvement, but they call it continuous improvement. I was sat next to a gentleman, Richard, who was a Q member from Plymouth, and it was just absolutely incredible. And then as we were talking on our breaks, we linked in and networked and shared contact details with Yorkshire Ambulance Service, with Inverness and other QI leads from across the whole country. So the opportunity to attend these Q visits is absolutely incredible, and I would recommend that you do so. Promoting Q, how we do it in the Northeast, we're quite pedantic and work very closely with the Health Foundation regarding accuracy of databases and accuracy of membership, because we like to know here in the Northeast, and it'd be very interesting for the new Q members from around the region or from around the country who've joined us today, how you like to be communicated to. We here in the Northeast, we have a quarterly Q bulletin where we'll introduce members, obviously with their express permission, what they do, their interests, the picture, a profile, series of questions. And what we like to do, what I like to do when we are privileged to welcome a new Q member into our family here in the Northeast, is send them a little email saying, welcome, congratulations to joining Q. You are now part of our valued and proactive Q community across the Northeast, which in turn grows our QI footprint, and the whole family is growing and sharing everything that we previously talked about. So we are looking for new ways of working here at the Academic Health Science Network, and our proposed ways of working, we have a Q initiative, and I'll share these details with Zoe, a Q initiative on our website with links to the Health Foundation, how to join, how I can support our Q members, promoting the Q brand, promoting membership across the region and recruitment, to share case studies. We're now looking, like I've previously alluded to, blogging, a series of YouTube clips from our Q members. They will be short, sharp and sweet, and there will be success stories. We're investigating Instagram, Twitter, and all the new plethora of social media platforms. And as communication evolves, we've got to stay with it. So we encourage our Q community to suggest methods of communication, what they would like to know. Any hot news, we liaise with the Q Labs from the Health Foundation, put their news into our newsletter and cascade information out. We also have the facility of hot news. If something really, really exciting comes out, we can ping our members almost simultaneously, and there's a good pickup rate from that. So again, any suggestions that you may have, we're always looking to improve. So going forward, and giving you an example before I sort of bring this to a close, the work that we are doing and an example of the Q spirit, we held an event in November, the Human Factors and Ergonomics Mind the Gap. Initially, it was for region-wide, and to cut this short, NHS Education Scotland, human factors experts from Northern Ireland, Yorkshire, Birmingham, Loughborough have all come together and we're co-designing a piece of work, like I said, for the introduction initially or familiarization of human factors and ergonomics, co-designed, co-agreed, collaboratively deployed, and we're going to share across, hopefully, the national platform using Q. And along the way, we will be raising awareness of the Q brand and promoting to the community. And that's me.
Wow, thank you so much, Phil. Thank you both, Andrea and Phil. That was really, really insightful, really helpful. And it's just really nice to see some fantastic work that you're both doing to help, not just work that you're doing individually, but actually how you're working across the community to connect the improvement work you're doing, promoting and sharing. So really fantastic. I'm just gonna, we've got about 7 minutes left before we end the close for today. So I'm gonna just really quickly explain our theory of change. I won't dwell into the kind of all the different examples of things, because actually everything has been covered by Phil and Andrea. But I just wanted to point out our theory of change, which is also on our website. Basically everything we do and what we is linked to this, and our aim is to deliver impact and contribute to the sustainable improvement in health and care by focusing on building connections, supporting members to connect, looking at how we can better collaborate and mobilize different and spread different improvement activities. So that might be through Q Exchange, supporting each other, you know, sharing, and also developing both individually and with others. So whether that's through the IHI resources that you have access to, or kind of through different webinars, special interest groups and things. So all of this is available on our website, and we've got a range of different menus of offers. And I'll share these, we'll share these slides as well, so you can have a think about the types of ways in which you can quickly connect. We've got a member directory on the website, so you can easily find out who's in the community. You can filter it by area and areas of interest. We have our monthly newsletter where you can find out the latest information about what's going on in Q and in your area. And also we are very active on Twitter as well. So we've got a huge social media following that is actually beyond the Q community membership. And again, it's a great way to post things. We can retweet different members' posts and actually have a discussion on Twitter as well. So before we kind of end, I wanted to just sort of just ask a question to you all, sort of, you know, what's next for you? What are some things that you might want to get stuck in, and have a think about that? You can go on our website. We have different toolkits and resources as well about how you might make meetings more engaging. We've got our creative approaches to problem solving tools. We've got our member directory, as I mentioned. You can blog, all sorts of things. So have a think about what you might, what's the first thing you might want to do following this webinar. and kind of reflecting on the initial question I asked everyone, which is what are you excited about Q? So maybe have a think about that and then see what is available to you in the community. So I'm just going to pause there. If anyone has any questions for Phil, for Andrea, or to the Q team, if you have any questions about, what information about the membership. I'm just having a look at are there any questions? Great. So thank you, Phil, for answering some of those questions as well. Feel free to unmute as well if you want to ask a question. No. Well, like I said, what we'll do is we'll share the links and resources, all this information in an email. And again, you'll also get information, updates from the Q community every month as well through our newsletter. Finally, before we wrap up, I just want to do one last thing, which is that we are always looking to continuously improve how we do different activities in Q. So one way we're going to do this is what is called the Net Promoter Score. And so if you don't mind, we would ask you on a scale of 1 to 10, how likely are you to recommend this webinar? And this will basically help us to think about what we can do differently or suggestions for next time, what you like more of, what would you like less of. So feel free to just use, oh, sorry, I have built in a poll, sorry. So if I can just figure out how to get the poll working, then this should, oh yes, yeah. If you hit poll there, great. So hopefully you can, hopefully you'll see a screen now. So if you'd like to go ahead and click on from 1 to 10, how likely are you to recommend this webinar to others? And then also, if you have any specific comments or feedback for us, feel free to type them in the group chat, or you can just email us. Great. So I'll give you maybe 30 more seconds. And hopefully, in the next few months, as there'll be more information about Q Exchange, this really collaborative, exciting funding program that we offer to members every year. There'll be our annual event in the autumn, and then there'll be loads of events again that's they'll be shared through Communicate and on our website that are also led by our partners, our HSNs, and the different country partners as well. So keep an eye out for that, and make the most of, really try and make the most of Q, because as Phil said, it's really what you kind of put in is what you get out of Q. So really looking forward to hopefully meeting you in the near future. Lovely. All right, well, we're going to wrap up there, but thank you again for your time, and have a lovely lunch, and enjoy the rest of your week. And thank you to Andrea and Phil. Thanks for your time.
Thank you very much indeed, Sarah. I think everyone, by the looks of it, there was a fantastic response and everyone's enjoyed it. So thank you.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you. Thanks, everyone. Bye.